Good afternoon and welcome to councillors and staff and to those joining online and in the public gallery. And today we welcome some participants from the Leadership Great South Coast program. So wonderful to have you here in the chamber with us. Please note that today's meeting is being live streamed and can be viewed by the general public via council's Facebook page and later uploaded to council's website. By participating in and addressing those present at the meeting today, you consent to any information you disclose, including any personal information or sensitive information, being recorded and uploaded to the website. I'll begin by inviting Councillor Taylor to recite the prayer for us today.
Almighty God, we humbly beseech your blessing on the council. Direct and prosper its deliberations for the welfare of the people of the Moyne Shire. Amen.
And I'll now invite Councillor Murray to read our acknowledgement of country.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. We begin by acknowledging the Kure Wurrung people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders past and present. We extend that respect to any and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today.
We have no councillor apologies today, but we do have an apology, Mr. Edstein, from our Director of Assets and Communities, Ian Farrell.
That's right, yeah, through you, Mayor. That's right. So Ms. Farrell's on leave at the moment, and so Simone Robinson is stepping in for Edith. So thank you to Simone for that.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any declarations of interests that anybody plans to disclose for today's meeting? If not, we'll move to the minutes of the ordinary council meeting on the 22nd of April 2025. I need those to be confirmed as a true and accurate record. Please. Thank you, Councillor Murray. Moved. Seconded. Councillor Taylor, thank you. Is there any dissent? If not, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried 7-0. We have no public participants at today's meeting, so we'll move directly to officer reports. Beginning at 2.1, the Curdy Inlet Reserve final replacement jetty option. And I'll ask our Director of Environment, Economy and Place, Ms. Jodie McNamara, to present this to us, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councillors. The Curdy's Inlet Reserve replacement jetty project has come to a conclusion in terms of the final consultation round being carried out, and a preferred design concept is now available for councillors to recommend to the community. The project so far has been fully funded, and the council officers and team have provided in-kind support to arrive at the project to this point. We are recommending that option one, the concept or preferred concept, to forward on to committee, and we would like to recommend that we also progress to the detailed design within the budget once the.
Thank you, Ms. Beckman. Do we have any questions around this item? No, Councillor Dukas, you putting no? Sorry,
No, I'm
raising your hand.
You get in this.
In that case, we do have a recommendation there. Before us, Councillor.
Sorry, to move the recommendation?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Councillor Dukas. Seconded. Councillor Murray. Councillor Dukas.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is a great outcome for the small community down there and the wider fishing community. I believe there was about six or seven different designs originally.
Through Mayor, about seven.
Seven original designs. It was narrowed down to three, and out of the three, the best design, according to the committee, is option one, which was the cheapest design. So a big shout out to the, you can't go past a rural committee to find the best design and the cheapest design. So there's a lesson in that. So congratulations to everybody involved in this, and hopefully going forward, we'll get that project up and going.
Thanks, Councillor Dukas. As a seconder, Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. By Councillor Dukas, I just wanted to shout out to the committee. I think these volunteer committees, they're tough going at times, but a great result, a great outcome, and I can't wait to see the finished product. So
Thank you, councillor Murray. Any other councillors who'd like to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll return to you as the mover, councillor Dukas.
Just saying that although we haven't decided to put a lot of money into this, there is money still to be spent on final design, but going forward, we'll do what we can to help that committee and community get this new jetty up and going.
Absolutely. Thanks, councillor Dukas. Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? That is carried 7-0. Item 2.2, the Public Amenities Service Review, affectionately dubbed the Lou Review. I'll ask our Acting Director of Assets and Community, Ms. Simone Robertson, to please speak to us about this time.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this report presents the final draft of the Public Amenities Service Review following community consultation. The report provides details of the 28 submissions received and updates made to reflect the feedback within the plan. The report provides a strategic 10-year approach to improve Mortlake Shire's public toilet facilities to ensure they're clean, safe, accessible and meet community expectations. So the recommendation provided for council consideration is to note the feedback and suggested responses and adopt the Public Services Amenity Plan, which includes a provision for a 10-year action plan in 26-27 and for the adopted plan and submissions to be posted on the website.
Thanks very much, Ms. Robinson. A lot of work gone into this. Questions from councillors? We've workshopped it pretty thoroughly. If there are no questions, we have the officer's recommendation before us. Is someone prepared to move that? Or a motion? You'll move that. Thank you, councillor Murray. Seconded, please, councillor Ryan. Councillor Murray.
thank you, through you, Mayor. It's such an important bit of work. It's something that we all use. We all need to have quality amenities. And while I'm excited that this has now been done, I'm most excited about the action plan and starting to actually implement some of these actions, because we do have some very tired amenities blocks around the Shire. So I can't wait for some refreshing of those buildings.
Thanks, councillor Murray. Councillor Ryan.
Thanks. Through you, Mayor. Councillor Murray summed it up very well. Nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now invite other councillors to speak for or against the motion, if they would like to do so. Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to note that we cater for all genders with our toilets going forward. That I see that the Lou review has been as though done by a man, because the toilet seats left up in most of the photos. Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to note that.
Well spotted. Thank you very much, councillor Lockett. Any other councillors who'd like to speak for or against this motion? Councillor, we'll go with you, councillor Ross.
It's a very thorough report, and I was pretty impressed. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you, councillor Ross. Councillor Dukas.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Reading the report, a lot of the feedback indicates that the cleaning isn't up to standard. Well, I shouldn't say not up to standard. Maybe we need to improve the cleaning regime. You can't turn around and say that we're not doing a good cleaning job, but I think that some of these toilets we need to review the amount of time that they clean during a week. Now, I mean, that's a budget project response, finance, the whole thing, but I know it's budget time, but going forward, we need to look at that to facilitate a better cleaning program or a more frequent cleaning program, because there's nothing worse than visitors visiting. So it doesn't matter whether it's Woolsthorpe, Marlers Flat or even Port Fairy. Dirty toilets aren't a good look.
I'm going to depart slightly from our governance process here and invite Ms. Robinson to make comment around that, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Dukas, an important part of the action plan will be to undertake a review of the current cleaning services provided for all the facilities, and we will be looking at how we can improve that. There's a few different models that are being looked at internally to improve the efficiency of our services.
Thank you. There we go. Action already.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other councillors wanting to speak for or against the motion? If there are none, I'll return to you as the mover, councillor Murray. Let's put that one to the vote. Any votes in favour? That is carried 7-0. Item 2.3 is our monthly finance report, and I'll ask our Director of Corporate and Governance, Mr. Ed Small, to take us through this, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councillors. Each month we put the monthly finance report to the council, so councillors can monitor how we're tracking against the budget and how we're looking overall at our financial position. And I'm pleased to say that we seem to be tracking closely to our budget, and also favourable results are coming through. So the year-to-date results, we are favourable to the budget, which is a very good outcome, and we are forecasting we're year-to-date periods a budget surplus of $11 million, but that of course will change as the year progresses. It'll reduce as some of the expenditure comes through towards the end of the year, and the revised year-end forecast will be a $9.1 million surplus. Is still a very good result. Our budget was $8.9 million surplus. And also wish to report that we favourably achieved the underlying surplus, which is always the tighter number to measure. So we're looking at it making a small break even there, 52,000 surplus, which is very, very pleasing to see. And other than that, I wanted to indicate that the capital works are slightly ahead of last year. Last year we had a very good capital works achievement for the year, and this year we're slightly ahead in the level of expenditure, the amount of expenditure we made year to date. So again, that's looking favourable. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Now, questions from councillors. Councillor Lockett.
Thanks, Mayor, through you. Just seeking an update on the Porphyry Play and Skate, how that's tracking. Been asking for many years and we're very, very close. So I just thought an update for the community would be great. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Through the Mayor, thank you. The Skate and Play project is on track for completion for the 30th of June. We do have one minor hiccup with the Flying Fox, which is being transported from New South Wales, so currently a bit delayed in flood, but we are monitoring that. So we expect that or anticipate that the project will be completed on time.
Just to clarify, that's the Port Fairy Skate and Play. Other questions? I do have a question, Mr. Small, which I might direct to Ms. McNamara. It's in relation to, it's on page 190 of 268. And we're looking at the table there, operating result by program for the financial year table. And thank you for presenting the information in this newly revised format. Just under regulatory services, I see there that the note is an increase in animal impounding costs and local law staffing backfill seems to have resulted, am I not correct, in a $187,000 unfavourable outcome?
Unfortunately, that's correct.
Thank you. And could I just ask Ms. McNamara, as the director of that portfolio, are we able to offer any kind of explanatory understanding of why we have arrived at this result?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the question. At this point in time, we have arrangements with the pound that operates out of Hamilton, and we do also utilise a pound in Ballarat. The Ballarat pound is generally favoured towards cats, and we do take dogs to Hamilton. We think as a result of the cost of living pressures on families and general, I guess, financial implications at this point in time, we have seen a really high escalation of animals being surrendered or retrieved, found, and we do need to place them in safe accommodation until their homes are found or they can be rehomed. We do have a high success rate for that, which is pleasing. It's not a nice area of our life, unfortunately, but that is something we will explore going into the next few months on other options for homing our animals temporarily. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. McNamara. Other questions in relation to finance report? Councillor Dugas?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. reckon I had one earlier. The non-recurrent projects, we've had a bit of a saving in those. Have we got a list of where we had the savings?
Through the mayor, councillor, thank you for the question. The finance manager said he will distribute a list to us. He sent it to us earlier, and I'll ensure that happens. I understand that that list has come about because we do a regular, every month, routine review of where we are with year to date. And at this point, we're at the end of April, this report, so we knew there are only 2 months to go, so we've got even a more accurate forecast. But I'll distribute the list.
Okay, no, thank you. That's very good.
Okay, any other final opportunity for questions? If not, we do have officer's recommendation that we receive and note a monthly financial report as at 30th of April, seeking a mover. So thank you, Councillor Taylor. Thank you, seconded by Councillor Ross. Councillor Taylor.
Oh, yes. I'm happy to just move the financial report as of the course. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross.
I'm always happy to second it. It's a very thorough report, pretty much up to date. Looking forward for the final figures for the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other councillors? Anything they'd like to say? No, if not, oh yes, Councillor.
Sorry, quick one. Thank you, Mayor. Great to see. In the last few months, there's been there's been projects finishing ahead of schedule, ahead of budget, which is fantastic. So a big shout out to the officers and the work that goes in, because there's a lot of work that goes in to make that happen. So I think we've really been tracking really well, which is great. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Lockett. I'll now put that. Also, I would turn to you as the mover, Councillor Taylor.
No, there's nothing further to say.
Thank you. Then we'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried 7-0. Item 2.4 is the council plan, previous term essentially, 2021 to 2025 half-yearly report. Thanks, Mr. Small.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, as you know, we've been working diligently for the last 6 months on the council plan for the new financial year, but this is really just a how we're going with the existing council plan. The current existing council plan ran for 4 years, and we're in the home straight now. It finishes in June this year, but we're obliged to produce half-yearly update reports just so council can monitor how we are progressing against the actions. And this is a routine report. It's basically a health check showing that we are setting out to complete what we said we're going to do, and it's itemised actions against each of the objectives and where we are on comments and status of where we are. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Small. Questions on the floor? Okay, there being none, we have, this is just for information. So do we need to formally move this as a motion? We do, thank you. So council accepts the report on the progress against the council plan. Thank you, Councillor Murray. Seconded. Councillor Lockett. Thanks, Councillor Murray.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. As Mr. Small mentioned, this is the previous council plan, and while we've been working on and developing the new council plan, it will take effect on the 1st of July. I think it's really important that we do close out the previous council plan and ensure that the works and the aspirations and the actions from the previous council are completed as best they can be. So I'm very happy to take this update and get this feedback, and look forward to hopefully adopting our new council plan at the next council meeting. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, well summarised, Councillor Murray, and as we alluded to, one door closes, another one opens, and I think this council has been doing a great job formulating the council plan. So, yes, looking forward to going ahead in a strategic direction on our ship together. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Lockett. Would any other councillor like to speak for or against this motion? If not, I'll return to you as the mover. No, let's put that one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. Item 3.1 is the mayor and councillor activities, which are set out there for you. Any questions or commentary around our activities. We've all been pretty busy. If there are none, we'll move then to 3.2, councillor notice of motion, and we did not receive any. Then move to item 3.3, general matters. Open up for councillors for any general matters to vote. Councillor Ryan.
Through you, Mayor, I have 3 items for general matters today. So first one, I'd just like to recognise the works at East Beach Port Fairy are now complete. I'd like to thank the staff and contractors for their efforts on this space, and there will be an official opening date in June, so watch this space. Secondly, Moyne Shire recognised Ida Hobbit Day on the 17th of May. So Ida Hobbit Day is the International Day against homophobia, transphobia and biphobia. And it was great to see Moyne Shire show active allyship, celebrating diversity and continuing to work towards a safe and inclusive community. And finally, just a big shout out to the Port Fairy CFA. So congratulations to Port Fairy CFA volunteer members for completing their training in fire medical response. So there's 50 CFA brigades across the state that will be trained and equipped to provide a response to 000 calls in support of Ambulance Victoria. Port Fairy CFA volunteers have now commenced supporting Ambulance Victoria with specific call-outs, which is a life-saving resource for the town. So a big thank you to our local CFA volunteers in that space. Thank you.
Thanks, councillor Ryan. Other items, councillor Murray.
Through you, Mayor. I would like to acknowledge that today is the start of Reconciliation Week. I recognise the ongoing journey towards truth, justice and healing for our First Nations community. And I also acknowledge that reconciliation is not confined to 1 week of the year. It requires ongoing truth-telling, active listening and a commitment to embedding change through the decisions and policies made not just in our council chamber but beyond. The Uruk Deputy Commissioner Chair, Travis Lovett, is walking from Portland to Parliament on a walk for truth. It's the completion of the Uruk Justice Commission and will present the findings to Parliament. It's a 400-kilometre journey, and this week the walk is actually passing through parts of the Moyne Shire. So you can jump online. It's a free and open event. I would encourage our community to get along to any sections of the walk if possible. It's a nice chance to walk together, listen and learn. And there can't be anything bad that comes out of that. I also just want to do a quick shout out to acknowledge the remarkable achievement of the Friends of St Bridget's Association in Crossley. In 2009, the Catholic Church decided to sell the St Bridget's Church and Hall. The buildings were surplus for their needs. These historic buildings were constructed and donated by the community, predominantly Irish immigrants, back in 1914. The community faced the heartbreaking prospect of losing these sacred spaces, but instead of surrendering, the people rallied together. Determined to preserve their heritage, the community rallied and raised funds through concerts and events and secured a 30-year community mortgage to purchase the property for themselves. Over the past 16 years, this resilient community has upheld that commitment. They made monthly mortgage repayments to ensure that the church and hall remain a vibrant part of the community, and this month they've made the final mortgage repayment. These buildings are now back in community's hands, and they have outright ownership of these cherished buildings. St Bridget's Precinct now stands as a thriving cultural hub and hosts over 150 events annually. This accomplishment is not just about property ownership. It's a living testament to the strength, resilience and unity of a community that refused to let go of its heritage. Well done. This is such a wonderful reminder that when a community comes together with purpose and passion, there is no challenge that is insurmountable. So well done to St Bridget's, and they are going to hold a celebratory concert in June, so keep an eye out for that.
I feel like we ought to burst into a round of applause.
Oh, it's just amazing. So it's very, very amazing.
Thank you, councillor Murray. Other councillors?
Yeah,
Councillor
thank you,
Dennis.
Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to make mention of the Deakin University's medical school and I suppose the issue of moving that down to Water Ponds. There's been a few articles in the press by local medical people who aren't very happy with it, and we, the community, shouldn't be very happy with it at all. It's going to cost us a lot of students, not only those that spend a small amount of time in the country, but they will end up going back to the city. From what we've heard from the local practitioners. It should stay where it is because it's an outstanding facility that they got there. The doctors that teach, or the specialists, are some of the best in Australia. And I think the South West Vic Alliance should, I suppose, all get together and do something about talking to the government and seeing if they can change their mind. I know it's not easy because the state government gets very pig-headed. It's just another blow to the rural community. Bad enough private services levy, the drought that they've ignored, and now that moving the medical school away, it's just another blow that we just can't tolerate this any further.
Mr. Everstein, is this something we could raise with the South West Victoria Alliance, our regional grouping councils?
Through me, thank you, and thanks Councillor Dukas for the comments. So yeah, absolutely. So the South West Vic Alliance is very much an advocacy body that includes Moyne as well as Warrnambool, Glenelg Shire, Southern Grampians and Corangamite. So that's exactly what the body is there to do. So what we can do out of that question and request is seek clarification through the South West Vic Alliance, what their position is, and encourage them to advocate for those students and that department to remain strong in the region. Yep. So we'll be happy to do that.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Everstein. Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a couple also. Yesterday, the 26th of May, was National Sorry Day. Officially National Day of Healing is an event held, obviously on the 26th of May, commemorating the stolen generations. This is a part of the ongoing efforts between reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians, which also marks the start of Reconciliation Week. Also wanted to do a big shout out to Winter Weekends, which is coming up 6th to the 9th of June, King's birthday long weekend. The Dash Hound Dash, the classic little dog race that's on. And there's Vinyl Swap Man, there's heaps of fairy hunts and art things. It's not just in Port Fairy as well. There's some events in Koroit and surrounding kind of district. There's the Port Fairy Consolidated School have a great little market. There's heaps of cool stuff on. So busy weekend in Port Fairy, and a shout out to the committee because they do a great effort putting that on. Thank you.
Any other items? Yeah, Councillor.
Through me, I've got probably three.
Go ahead.
Shout out to MacArthur Primary School, Hawkesdale P12 for the good work they done on Anzac Day in the morning, getting up real early. Number two, a big shout out, acknowledgement to anybody in the rural communities with the tough year. Like, tough is tough. It's really bad. So thinking of you with that. And the third one was anybody that's interested in land use issues, get on the Vic Grid, look at their website, go to their meetings that are coming up, all these meetings with the land use issues with the renewable energy zone. It's going to be a big one. So get onto that one. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Anything else for general matters? Mr. Everstein.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mayor. Just a notification to councillors in the community that we'll be bringing forward our June Ordinary Council meeting forward one day. So that'll be held on Monday, the 23rd of June at 12 p.m. Thank you.
Good reminder. Thank you, Mr. Everstein. There's nothing further. Oh, yes, go on.
Sorry, through you, Mayor. I forgot one of the really most important things, and that's that we very recently celebrated Volunteer Week. So I don't think anything would happen in any of our communities without the dedication of our volunteers. So you weren't an afterthought. I just hadn't written it down. So thank you. If you're a volunteer, you are just salt of the earth. So thank you.
Well said. Thanks, Councillor Murray. If there's nothing further, we'll move to item 3.4, which is urgent business. I wouldn't ordinarily speak from the chair, but today I do wish to raise an urgent matter, one that I consider to be quite urgent, and it wasn't possible for me to include it in the council agenda. And the matter relates to seeking federal and state governments to consider the current drought conditions, which Councillor Ross has just alluded to, that we're experiencing in southwest Victoria as a natural disaster. Now, doing this would open up extra support for those experiencing hardship and distress. And I would like to say the reason for the urgency behind this is that it is clearly a dire and urgent situation. So yesterday, Mr. Everstein and I attended a farmer-led roundtable discussion on the drought in Warrnambool. It was attended by farmers and by stakeholders from across the region, and its focus was on identifying some priority actions that we could take immediately to have some kind of urgent impact for the farmers experiencing drought. And one of those was for councils in drought-affected regions to call on the state and federal governments to reclassify drought as a natural disaster. It currently is not, in the same way that fire and flood is treated. So I'm asking that this council agrees with me that it is actually an urgent item. And to that end, I ask that some councillor move a motion that we resolve to hear this matter, which we do agree is urgent. Councillor
I'll move that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dukas. Seconded, please. Councillor Lockett. Thank you. Councillor Dukas, do you want to speak to that?
I think you've summed it up pretty well, and we all know the councillors here, we're in a rural council. We've spoken about the drought for quite a number of times now, at our meetings and amongst ourselves. And urgent is being pretty polite. I think it's worse than urgent.
Thank you, Councillor Dukas. Councillor Lockett.
I don't think I need to speak after that. Well said, councillor Lucas.
Thanks. Do any other councillors want to speak against hearing this as an urgent motion?
Yeah, the word calamity came to mind. That's where we're at.
Let's put that to the vote then. Where the motion is that we consider this as an urgent matter. So I'll ask for those in favour. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. So the urgent business then, I'll come to that matter. It is a bit of a clunky governance process here. The resolution that I'd like to put before the council is this: that council calls upon the Commonwealth and Victorian state governments to amend the definition of a natural disaster to include significant drought events, such as that currently experienced across southwest Victoria, with the intent of providing required financial and resource assistance to those experiencing hardship and or distress. So I'm happy to move that motion for the sake of debate. I do need a seconder though, Councillor Dukas. So I'd just like to speak to that, if I may. I think we all know it is a calamity, as Councillor Ross has said. So the current situation in Australia is that while droughts are considered a natural hazard, and we all know they can have potentially serious impacts, our state and federal governments do not generally define them as natural disasters under the same framework as other disastrous events such as fire and flood. So instead, the general approach has been long-term with a focus on preparedness and resilience. So as of next week, we tick over into June, and that means we enter our third successive year of drought here in southwest Victoria. Any preparation and planning that our farmers have done for drought has been well and truly exhausted. And as it was put to me yesterday, most farmers can prepare for 1 year, some can prepare for 2, but 3 is beyond measure. So with many farmers now moving to destock and some having to fold altogether, it's clear we're now in a state of crisis, the urgency of which can't be underestimated. So yesterday at the roundtable discussion in Warrnambool, we heard that the most urgent need farmers have right now is cash flow. A natural disaster declaration would open up opportunities for lump sum payments, short-term income support, and other grants and loans that are currently not available to our farmers. We mightn't be able to get the water flowing, but we might have a chance at getting some cash flowing into our regional economy. Now, obviously it's raining right now, so it seems a little bit ironic that we should be moving this today, but the Bureau of Meteorology tells us that the drought is highly unlikely to break anytime soon, and instead rainfall is likely to be well below average right across southern Australia through until August. And coupled with that, temperatures are likely to be unusually warm. So I've had experienced farmers tell me in the recent weeks that even if the drought was to break today, it's going to take most farming enterprises years to recover from what they've experienced. And let's remember, it's not just about our farmers. Agriculture underpins around 60% of our regional economy. And when our farmers hurt, we all hurt. And it's also about food security and having enough to feed our country. And very importantly to me, and I think to many of us around this table today, it's about the health and the well-being of our communities. We know our farmers are resilient. They're used to staring down enormous challenges, but as a number of them have told me very recently, the situation is now a crisis point. This is a natural disaster. It might have been many, many years in the making, but from what I see and what I hear on a daily basis, the impacts of this disaster are every bit as traumatic and will have consequences that are just as dire as any fire or any flood. So I urge my fellow councillors to support this urgent motion today. Thank you. Councillor Dukas, as second.
I'll reserve.
Thank you. I'll invite other councillors. Would anyone like to speak for or against? Councillor Murray?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. In my ignorance, I didn't actually know that drought wasn't listed as a natural disaster. That just seems like such an oversight to me. I'm happy to speak for this. Farmers are facing, as you mentioned, the second to third consecutive year of drought with no relief in sight. Many are destocking livestock at unprecedented rates, abandoning crops, facing financial ruin, not financial hardship, financial ruin. The mental toll is equally devastating, with reports of increased depression, anxiety and self-harm among those who are the backbone of our food production. This isn't something that we can just ride out. I know that we talk about how resilient our farmers are, but how much can we keep asking of them to bear? By amending the definition of a natural disaster to include significant drought events, we can unlock necessary financial and resource assistance to support those experiencing hardship and distress. And I believe that we should act with urgency and compassion to ensure that they receive the support they so desperately need. They don't need our well wishes. They don't need our empathy. They need real action. They need financial support. They need help. And if this is a way that we can unlock some federal or state assistance, then I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Any other councillors wanting to speak for or against? Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you personally for the amount of effort you've put into this motion, meeting with our regional stakeholders and obviously Ms. Leverstein as well. This is, it's a devastating time for our farmers. As you said, they're a very resilient community, been through floods, fires, bushfires, services levy with, navigating at the moment. They're really being tested. We were talking earlier today, yes, they're resilient, but, how much, more do they want to be tested? It's just a really, really difficult time. So we want to encourage, and build up the resilience of our farmers, but also encourage them to check in on each other. There's many events going on, but this is going to be a long-term, months and years kind of recovery. And, we want to sing out that we've got your backs, we're doing what we can here. And it's a massive oversight. And as you said, as Councillor Murray, he said, why is the drought in there? It's absolute madness. I suppose we're not used to drought so much down this way, but it's massively impacting our farmers. And as you said, if our farmers hurt, we all hurt. So thank you, Mayor, for your great effort in putting this motion up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lockett. Any other councillors? Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mayor, for your words. Back you up 100% in that. And I'm just reading here, natural disaster to include significant. Well, when it's dry in the Otways, that's significant. It's not just the Wingeon farmers and it's a tap dry. It's a shocker.
Well, you would know from personal experience as a farmer. Councillor Ryan.
Through you, Mayor, I 100% support this motion. Drought causes serious harm for our farmers, industries, families and communities. You may not feel the effects of drought firsthand, but your way of life is still shaped by its impact. And while droughts develop gradually, it's time governments treat them with the same urgency as other natural disasters.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? If not, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I've got a few things. Mind you, as urgent motion, so I didn't have time to get into it. But as Councillor Ryan said, it does affect the cost of living. They're all governments rant and rave about the cost of living, but what do they do about it? If the dairy industry goes under, we won't be able to afford high quality milk and dairy products, we'll be buying plastic milk off the Chinese. Is that what the government wants? I mean, the Labor government, with all their support, the minor parties that support them and independents, they've had years to do something about this and they've done nothing. So you've got to ask the question, do they really care? And I'm starting to think that they don't. The politicians on both sides should do more. I mean, local politicians, federally and state Liberal politicians, they should be speaking up. I mean, they both know what the land's worth, what comes off the land and the effect that it has on the land, but they say a few words but do nothing. So this motion, I think, with the combination of all the other councils, should have some weight. And if the government doesn't listen, then, as Councillor Ross says, we'll be flyblowed.
Thank you, Councillor Burgess. Well, I guess just to sum up, thank you all for your support and for your care for our farmers. We have 3 farmers here with us on our council team. We're feeling for you, and we're feeling for all of our farmers across the region. Sometimes you can feel a bit helpless when things like this happen, but this is something tangible that we can do to stand up for our region. I implore the state and federal governments to hear what we have to say today and to listen and to take action. And hopefully also our neighbouring councillors will do something similar to this. So with that said, I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please. Is carried 7-0. Thank you so much, councillors. We move now to item 4, the CEO meeting schedule and activities report, and I'll hand over to you, Mr. Epstein.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update today. Just to run through a few important updates. So following the urgent motion that's just passed now, that really reflects a lot of activity throughout the council team in recent weeks, particularly with the emergency services and volunteer fund levy advocacy. So we've seen meetings with state parliamentarians, several letters that we've issued. We've been interacting with our local government network in the southwest sector, and also at the state level through bodies like the MAV and RCV. Now, as you can see, that really also morphs into the drought advocacy itself, which a lot of the concern around that ESVF levy was built upon. So, but it's been really pleasing to be able to support the community in that way, and obviously we're eager to see the right decisions being made as soon as possible. I'll just turn back to roads, which is certainly in normal day-to-day council business, something that everybody is thinking about, particularly in our region. So an update on our roads program for the 2024-25 year that is coming towards a close in a couple of months. So firstly, our sealed road resealing program is now 100% completed for the year. There's over 100 kilometres of roads that have been resealed. And in fact, we've completed an additional 22 kilometres in that program. So that's a real indication of the investment that's been made in the equipment that we have purchased in recent years, and also, of course, the training and practices of our team, that they've been able to extract so many more kilometres in the work that they've done. So we're really pleased with that outcome. Secondly, with sealed road rehabilitation program, that's at now 90% complete. It's about 10 kilometres and 5 intersections done so far. Right now, we've got work on the Castle Carey Road in progress. We know that's a really important road around that community there. And also, I'd make mention of the Hopkins Fall Road Bridge. So that structural work is now completed, and we will see that project complete in full over the next couple of weeks. So we've got asphalt to lay on the deck, things like guardrails and so forth to put in place, and then, of course, a clean-up of the site. Also, Campbell Street in Port Fairy, that's now at 90% complete as well. So we'll see that those works come to full completion very, very soon. So looking forward to that. Finally, the third component of our roads program is our unsealed road resheeting program. That's currently sitting at 60% completed, or about 13 kilometres. So we've got a really important couple of months in front of us to finish out that program. But having completed some of the work, that frees up resources to really focus on the unsealed roads over our last couple of months. On to early years. So we've got at the moment nearly 50 additional places year on year, and that includes both about 25 places within our own council-run facilities, and also, of course, we've got Roots in Garbock who started up recently. So we have north of 45 additional places, which is well above 10%, probably closer to 15% on where we were a year ago. So that's really important to the community. Access to childcare is something that's being spoken about and advocated for a lot. We've also been able to expand the number of days of those services recently at Mortlake and Merri. So thanks to the team who have been able to achieve that and deliver that result for families. We're conscious of our unplanned room closures in our facilities. We had 4 of those in the month of April. So it is something that we're watching and trying to manage really closely there. We had a couple in particular where we had staff away simultaneously, which can happen, but I'm really pleased to say within a couple of days that was kind of locked down with our response from more broadly in our network, and we were able to get those rooms back up and running again. On to other works around council, particularly around projects. So a couple of projects such as East Beach and Skate and Play in Port Fairy have been mentioned. So great to see those coming to their end very soon. We've also had the re-fiberglassing of the MacArthur Pool recently completed. So that was a decision council took recently. So that's all ready to go for the summer ahead, and we look forward to that later in the year. A couple of other projects I'll mention that haven't yet come up today. We've got the Port Fairy Netball Football Club change rooms. We're looking at an official opening date of around August of this year. So that's getting closer and closer to completion. So watch out for that. Also our Croydon Streetscape Stage 3. So we're expecting an integrated project plan by the end of this month. So that's only a matter of days away. And then once we've got that in hand, we'll be able to provide more detailed updates to the community about where and when activity around Croydon will start to take place. And lastly, we're also really pleased and grateful for the consultation from the community and feedback we've received for the Mortlake Market Square project. So that'll now start to absorb all of that feedback, and those plans will start to come together through the weeks ahead. So with all of that said, we know that we had a really strong completion year of our projects last year. So and I'm pleased to say that we're on track for another really strong year this year. So we expect to be able to retain that good performance a second year running. So much work to be done over the next few weeks, but it'll be really good to and pleasing to see us go back to back with that performance. Next on to just opportunities for community feedback. So we do have on our website Engage Moyne. It is currently down. So the IT team in the background will have that back up very, very soon, I'm sure. But just to make note of a couple of items on there to look out for, our council budget for 2025-26 is there, as well as the rate and revenue plan for the next 12 months. Opportunities of feedback for those 2 documents are there until the 11th of June. We also have Naranda Recreation Reserve Master Plan available for feedback to us through Engage Moyne, also on the 11th of June. That'll finish up. And our active transport strategy for Croydon, Mortlake and Wangoon, which largely focuses on cycling tracks in particular. That is there through Engage Moyne until the 16th of June. And our council plan has now closed, but I'd also like to thank all the community that got back to us on that council plan for 2025 into 29. So right now we're absorbing all of that feedback, and it did get mentioned earlier today. That council plan will come back to councillors in the June meeting for review and hopefully adoption at that point in time. Just a few more things. Our Snap Send Solve. So that's an app that anyone in the community can download onto their devices and let us know about jobs that really need to be done quickly right across the Shire. In the month of April, we saw 49 items reported through to us. 34 of those were solved. There's 9 currently underway that we're working on, and another 6 went on to other agencies where they belong. So great to see the utilisation of Snap Send Solve nice and healthy, and we always encourage the community to use that. It's really effective. It can be much more efficient than a phone call or an email or other ways to contact us. So keep an eye out for those opportunities. We saw the Economic Development Advisory Committee come back together for its first meeting in the new term. That's a really important engagement that council has with the business community. So there's other groups as well in the Shire that we work with, but great to see that body back together again. So looking forward to some great outcomes and projects with that group. The Mayor and I attended the Municipal Association of Victoria State Council a couple of weeks ago. There were 3 motions that Moyne put forward, and I'm pleased to say all 3 were voted up. The first was around the Emergency Services Volunteer Fund levy model, so really challenging a much fairer distribution of that right across Victoria. The second was seeking that the cost shifting that we are seeing from state into local governments be addressed. And lastly, we advocated for more funding for our roads and bridges across local government. I'd like to just give a congratulations to the RSLs and all the community who supported Anzac Day at the end of April. That was a really busy day and an active day right across the community. So really important commemorations there. And thanks also to the officers that supported those RSLs to make those events occur really well. And lastly, a shout out to an event coming up at the Hawkesdale Swimming Pool, a big freeze event on the 22nd of June, which is a Saturday. They'll be working to raise money for the motor neuron disease. So look forward to supporting that event. Thank you, Mayor, and happy to take any questions.
Another busy month. Thank you very much, Mr. Everstein. So are there any questions for Mr. Everstein and his report? Wait, okay, thank you.
Surely there's questions. 20 pages long.
Do you have one, councillor?
Yeah, I'll start with a few. Aerial imagery project on page is it 17 of the report. It's a joint project, I believe, going by what's in here with Deca. So I would have thought Deca could have just paid for the lot. They want it done. You can take that on notice.
Sure, yeah.
Take it
Mayor,
on
I
notice.
don't. Ms. Robertson, would have any comment on that, or would you like to take that on notice?
Take them on notice. I know.
Yep, we'll do that.
I could have brought it up earlier, but I thought you had such an in-depth report. I thought I would ask a question.
Sure thing.
The other one you can take on notice is the A-Spec project.
Yep.
Please, and a couple of questions for Ms. McNamara. Can't let you off too light there. The wetlands at Dundonald. Apparently there's an issue. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, and I suppose the things that they were meant to do because they failed, they don't intend to do. So could you explain, please, to the community?
Through Mayor, thanks, Councillor Dukas. We are aware of correspondence that has come in from a concerned member of the community. We are looking into that matter at the moment to form a response to that community member. There will be requirements on the planning permit as we understand it, and we're just looking into it to understand more.
Thank you.
Keep you informed. Thanks.
And the other one is to do with the power line easement for the Woolsthorpe wind farm. So we were told by the company that the minister read our submission. I would say looked at it, took no notice of it, and issued a permit or intends to issue a permit for that easement.
Through Mayor, we have received notice that a decision has been made on that application with the intent to issue a permit, yes.
Right. Even though I suppose the local community weren't given much of a say in it at all. And I'd just like to highlight the fact that seeing that the government is so good at kicking the C of A in the guts, why don't they make this company put that power line underground? That would alleviate any fire issues that might happen in the future. You know, if C of A's start to close down, there'll be less C of A's to fight fires. And if there's a power, and this is up about the old Vic Track and Shire Road, up towards Woolsthorpe from Karoi. If a fire breaks out there and there's no local brigades, what happens? So quite easy, they could just say to the company that power line goes underground, and they should. But who are we? We only live in the country. We don't care. Well, I'm sorry, we don't care to them.
Anything further, councillor Dukas? Any more questions?
No, that's enough. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other councillors have questions? If not, I'll call the motion to suspend standing orders so that we can consider the confidential agenda this afternoon. Councillor Lockett, thank you. Seconded, councillor Murray. If there is any dissent, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour, carried 7-0. And thank you to those watching along online in the gallery. We appreciate your presence. Do you want Vicky and Jen?